Thank you for joining us. We'll just wait one moment for more people to come in. Okay, we will start momentarily. Thank you for joining us. Okay, we'll get started. Hopefully we'll have more people join us very soon. Welcome everyone. As you can see on the screen, this session is being recorded. Next slide. If you've been with us this entire week, you know that there is a Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. It's the question and answer feature where you can type your questions, and we have a team of people who are ready to answer them. We will address as many questions as we can. Please don't share any personal information, and if you can, send your questions anonymously and we will respond back privately as well. If we feel like there's a question that is worth being discussed live, because we think it's a question everyone should hear, we will do that as well. Next slide. All right, so everyone, thank you for the final day of International Parent and Family Orientation from UC San Diego. The Office of Parent and Family Programs, myself, I serve as Senior Officer for the Office of Parent and Family Programs, and my name is Karina Vio. And we've teamed with a number of different departments on campus throughout the week to provide you a pretty comprehensive, holistic understanding of the services we provide to you and to your student. And today we are joined by our friends and partners from Health Promotion Services and CAPS, Counseling and Psychological Services. We feel this is a really important topic. Your student is starting college in a very interesting time, yes. Nonetheless, there's a lot going on at the same time. So we feel like health and safety is an important topic to share with you and with your student as they begin the fall quarter at UC San Diego. So before we get started, I kind of want to know who's in the room. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to raise your hand. At the bottom of your screen, there's a raise your hand feature, so if you can find that. And I have 3 questions. So as soon as you find that raise your hand feature, we'll get started, just identify it. So get ready. So raise your hand if you believe your student has a pretty good understanding of their overall health. All right, hands are going up. Awesome. Good. Okay. All right, there's more, about 8. Great. All right, go ahead and lower your hand. Thank you. All right, here's the next statement. Raise your hand if you believe your student has a moderate understanding of their overall health. All right. Aware, okay, very good. Almost even as the first question. All right, go ahead and unraise your hand. And then the last statement is raise your hand if you believe your student needs direction to improve their overall understanding of their health. Yeah, a couple. All right. Nonetheless, this is going to be a webinar where you can gain more information or improve your own understanding for you and your student. So at this point, let's go to the next slide. I'd like to pass it over to Lisa.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, and parents and families, we're very excited that you're with us today. My name is Lisa, and I'm the Director for Health Promotion Services with our Student Health and Wellbeing Cluster. Our Student Health and Wellbeing Cluster does encompass counseling and psychological services, student health services, and health promotion services. And so what I want to tell you a little bit about is health promotion services and the services that we provide to your student, and maybe how you can engage with us as well. The main mission of our Health Promotion Services Department is really to promote policies and activities that contribute to a healthy campus. We do this by programming, we do this by meeting one-on-one with students, and we also do this by really pairing students with resources to enhance their health and well-being. And so we do this as a campus collective. And what I mean by that is we also work with Student Affairs, the Vice Chancellor Student Affairs Office, our case managers, off-campus partners, and also our Student Health and Wellbeing Cluster. We do this to promote student retention and success by supporting students in establishing and maintaining behaviors that contribute to their health now and in the future. We know that this may be their first time away from home, their first time engaging with healthcare professionals. We want to make health fun, but we also want to let the students know that we're here for them and that we want them to ask questions. We don't want them to ever feel like, or you to feel like, that they're being a burden to us. We are here to support their health holistically. And so when you think about my department, I want you to think about a department that really encompasses holistic health, meaning alcohol, tobacco, other drugs, and other forms of health. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. Next slide, please. So what services or focus areas does health promotion services really look at? We do campaigns, we do one-on-one consultations. We do this in the realm of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. And this year, we're very excited to say that we have started our first ever collegiate recovery program. And what that means is if the student is battling any form of addiction, that can be cannabis, that can be alcohol, that can be having a family history of someone who is in recovery, we have a support group for them. And so when you're chatting with your students, if they're finding that they're really trying to engage in high-risk activities, please make sure that they reach out to our department and let us know how we can assist. Peer-to-peer always works best. And so the Collegiate Recovery Program is going to really be there to support your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your family member to really be successful throughout their time here. We also do a lot of education around sexual health. We hand out sexual health contraception. We talk about Plan Prep B. We talk and have those one-on-one consultations. So I have a staff member who's a health educator who is designated to really have those conversations about healthy sexual relationships. What does that look like in having those conversations? So we have one-on-one appointments. We also have group appointments as well. This year, we're going to be partnering quite heavily with our Counseling and Psychological Services Department to provide mental health education to our students. We're going to do this through our peer program, but we're also going to do this with one of our staff members in Health Promotion Services, Renee. We have different labs that your students will be able to stop into, talking about stress management techniques. How can we really engage in those conversations? How do we pair them with resources for counseling and psychological services? And this year, we have just recently hired a men's health educator. We find that men, they do not visit our services as frequently when it comes to student health services and health promotion services. And so we have hired someone that will really engage men in healthy behavior conversations, pairing those individuals back to those resources. And we have started our certified peer health education program through our student health and wellbeing cluster. Currently, that program has around 100 students who will be working with us to provide peer-to-peer education to our campus population. And it will be looking at all forms of health. And so we look at general health, we do body composition appointments, we have ATOD appointments, and we also have a dietitian on staff as well. Our dietitian is here to really meet with students one-on-one. She does do group presentations, but if students are coming here and they're trying to figure out what can they eat, how do they eat healthy, or how do they eat on a budget, our dietitian can really support them in those efforts. One area that the students love is this place called The Zone. The Zone is our student health and well-being lounge, and it's located in the Price Center. Right now, we are definitely following public health guidelines here in San Diego County, but we want students to know that they can visit The Zone virtually. And so The Zone will be going virtual. One second, I am so sorry. Sorry, we're actually moving in our students here and prepping them and doing COVID-19 testing. So I'm telling our staff members we're on a Zoom because I'm outside sitting in our P102 parking lot here on campus. But the zone is a space that students can visit virtually, and they will also be able to visit the zone in person. The zone has been very well known for doing some programs called Hungry for Healthies, where we have our dietitian come in. She does and prepares healthy meals for our students. They have also been known to partner quite heavily with our CAPS department during the resilience lab and helping students with their stress management. And they also do the therapy fluffies. The therapy fluffies are dogs that come in that are therapy dogs that really calm students down in high risk times or during finals or midterms. And students love the therapy fluffies. So we will try to do that in some type of virtual platform this year. And we will still bring the zone to our students so that they can really be engaged in health and well-being. We have reconfigured the zone to be more compliant with our 6 feet social distancing. And so we still will have a space where students can visit during COVID-19 times. And I think that's going to be very important because we want students to de-stress. We want them to still engage with one another, but do that in a safe way. Next slide, please. So our well-being educators and some of the things that we do here on campus really drive quite a bit of our work. Our well-being peer health educators is a big partnership with our student health and well-being cluster. And the well-being peer health educators are here to actively educate UC San Diego students on important issues related to their health and well-being by presenting research-based and relevant information that empower them to comprehensively reflect on their choices and engage in healthy behaviors and attitudes and perceptions. And so our goal is really to help a student change their health behaviors, right? That can be positive, that can be a negative impact when we're looking at our data as well. And our goal is to provide support to students during their journey here at UC San Diego. We have a lot of students who reach out. I just had a student who emailed over and said, hey, I learned some information about the zone. When are you opening and how can we engage? And that is something that we definitely want them to do. We want them to have that peer-to-peer engagement with each other. And that's why we have so many peer health educators on our staff. And they're very excited for you all, your son, your daughter, your family member to be here at UC San Diego. They're excited to engage with one another. And I think as we've been going even through this move-in process, we have seen the excitement of students being able to come back to campus. Next slide, please. So how do we really think about health and well-being? I talked a little bit about our collegiate recovery program that we recently just started. This year, we will have AA meetings for Alcoholics Anonymous, NA meetings for Narcotics Anonymous, SMART recovery meetings, which really encompass a little bit of everything in recovery. We will have Refuge in Recovery and Celebrate Recovery. We also understand that individuals are coming from families that may have individuals who may be in recovery. And so we will have some Al-Anon meetings as well. And so our recovery program is going to be one that we really put at the forefront. We find that students here at UC San Diego and other campuses across the United States are having issues with substance abuse, and we want to be there as a support. And so if a student is identifying themselves as being in recovery, we will pair them with a clinician on staff with student health services. They'll have someone in health promotion services. They'll have a case manager, and they will also have someone from counseling and psychological services there to support them. We want them to know that their health and well-being comes first. And we know that making sure their health and well-being is at the forefront is something that is going to help them be successful in their academics. And so we're really pushing, making sure that students understand the resources here for them and the support services that are here for them. Next slide. So one thing that we're going to be doing, and I think they'll be able to do this virtually, and they will also be able to do this in person. Since we work for UC San Diego Health, we are still in the office and we're meeting with students on a one-on-one basis. So this year we will be launching our health coaching program. This will be to look at improving the quality of life and helping students to achieve their personal success and making sure that they set academic goals that they can attain. And so a couple of things that we'll be doing health coaching for are stress management, time management, sleep hygiene, resilience, nutrition, weight management, and goal setting. If you go out in the community, this is something that costs quite a bit of money, but here at UCSD, we will make sure that this is free of charge to all of our students. They will be able to meet with someone one-on-one, in person, or virtually if they choose to do so. They can make an appointment with us via our website at healthpromotion.ucsd.edu. Next slide. So a little bit about a program that we'll be collaborating with CAPS on. One that we have been doing and they've been doing for quite some time is our Resilience Lab. We are working on getting our Resilience Lab virtually because we understand that not all students will be here this upcoming quarter. And so what our Resilience Lab really looks at is it utilizes a technique, the heart map technique. And this technique helps students to really think of ways they can reduce stress, right? It could be during finals time. It could be something is happening in their personal life. And so they will meet one-on-one with a staff member, whether it's from CAPS or Health Promotion Services, to look at ways to practice stress management techniques to calm the body's response to stress. And so students will be able to make an appointment one-on-one with us. In the future, a student will be able to walk into the zone, do the appointment one-on-one, or they can do it on their own with self-administered. Next slide. So now we're going to turn the floor over to Dr. Tiffany O'Mara. She is our Director of CAPS Outreach Services.
All right. Hello. My name is Dr. Tiffany O'Mara, and I'm going to be speaking with you today about Counseling and Psychological Services, also known as CAPS. CAPS is focused on providing support for a diverse student body. Our staff help to support students through their adjustments, personal development, and growth. Next slide. This slide shows you our CAPS team at UCSD. We are comprised of a multiple disciplinary team made up of psychologists, licensed clinical social workers, psychiatrists, administrative support staff, and postdoctoral residents. In addition, we have a culturally diverse staff at CAPS, and a student may request to work with a specific provider. We do our best to support these requests. We offer CAPS services in various languages, including Cantonese, English, Farsi, French, Hebrew, Mandarin, and Spanish. We have counselors located all over campus in order to help increase access for our students. And our CAPS counselors serve as liaisons to our culturally diverse student groups on campus. They collaborate with various campus community center partners, and we have a dedicated counselor who works at ISPO, the International Students and Programs Office. We collaborate and provide consultations to staff at ISPO and create student-centered programs specifically for international students. Next slide. A student's experience at UC San Diego is an incredible time of growth and discovery, and it can also be a challenging time. UC San Diego students seek assistance from CAPS for a variety of understandable and common concerns. It is common for students who come from a different country to take some time to adjust. This is a time of change and transition for everyone, and it's natural for students to seek help. Many students have learned to lean on family or friends for support. And when students are away from home, CAPS is a place where they can get support. We are here to help them get through any challenges and to help them adjust, improve focus, help with problem solving, and make suggestions for how to improve academics and succeed at UCSD. Next slide. CAPS effectively adapts to changing circumstances and student needs. So when physical distancing is required, CAPS continues to be fully operational, providing all of our services virtually. And I'm going to introduce our services now. So we offer confidential services, which are free to currently registered UCSD students by using a focused intermittent model of counseling. We provide individual, couples, and group counseling. By focused intermittent counseling, it means that students can meet with a CAPS counselor to address a specific concern, and counseling is focused on attaining specific goals. On average, students meet with a CAPS provider for about 4 to 5 sessions, some more, some less, depending on the nature of their concerns. And students may return to see a CAPS counselor at different points during their time at UC San Diego. Certain concerns may require a student to be seen for a longer period of time. And for these situations, students are referred to a counselor off campus through their insurance. Parents can also call CAPS to ask to consult with a counselor if they have concerns about their student. So due to confidentiality, we're not able to disclose information about a student seeking services at CAPS. However, we are able to provide supportive resources to parents. CAPS takes confidentiality very seriously. This means that we do not share information with people outside of CAPS without the student's permission. There are some situations of very high risk that would make us break confidentiality, but we can discuss that with students in person when we meet. CAPS also offers psychiatric services for students for medication during the duration of their counseling. And psychiatrists meet with students for medication management for concerns while at CAPS. So for students who are experiencing an emergency or a crisis and need to consult with a counselor immediately, they can call the Central CAPS office phone number, which is 858-534-3755, and request to speak to a counselor over the phone. This is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And to clarify, all of these services listed here are available to students living in California. Due to licensing restrictions for clinicians, as dictated by the California Board of Psychology, we are not permitted to provide these services outside of California. We can only provide counseling to students who reside in California during their time of service. Students living outside of the US should contact local resources in their home country for counseling. If an international student is living outside of the US and calls CAPS, we are happy to help them find local resources and can help provide international crisis lines. All right, next slide. CAPS also provides outreach to the university community through our Triton's Flourish programming. So Triton's Flourish takes a preventative strength-based approach. We offer drop-in workshops that are designed to help increase skills to get through challenges, community forums to help build community and a sense of belonging, and iFlourish, which are online self-improvement programs. So as students are starting UCSD, we at CAPS would hope for each of them to perform well in many areas. And this includes not only addressing academic and professional success, but also improving one's personal, social, and overall well-being. And so these Triton's Flourish programs highlight the importance of well-being and how that's related to both personal and academic success. So it's important for students to learn both academic content for courses as well as develop healthy lifestyle habits, because it's these habits that will contribute to academic performance, life satisfaction, and a sense of well-being even after college. The best part is that all of these services are free and unlimited, which means that students can attend as many as they like, and they don't have to make a commitment. They can attend one or they can attend them all. You also don't have to be a CAPS client to attend. They can bring a friend with them, and there is no wait for these services. To clarify, these services are not clinical services or a resource for crisis intervention. They're not meant to replace counseling services or serve as a type of counseling. They're all educational and skill-based. And I'm going to take a few minutes just to describe each of these programs and what they can offer. The first are our drop-in workshops that are offered through the week. These are education and skill building workshops for students to learn new strategies or build upon tools they already use. So learning these skills helps students to improve stress management, build tools to help them get through challenges successfully, and learn strategies for well-being. These workshops are offered every academic quarter. For this fall quarter, we have workshops on how to cope with COVID-19, Wellness Wednesdays that teach self-care and stress management strategies, and Mindful Thursdays that teach mindful exercises. Students interested in attending these drop-in workshops can find the flyer on our CAPS website, which will have a Zoom link. Students can just show up on the day they want to attend, and there's no prior sign-up that's needed. Drop-in workshops are offered virtually and open to all international students, including those living in their home country or outside of the US. Next, I will talk about community forums. So one important aspect of adjusting well to the university is feeling a sense of belonging and that you are a valuable member of a group. So community forums provide space to help students connect to other students. And this fall, we have 13 different forums. For example, we have the Apimeta Community Forum, the Black Women's Collective, and the Coming Out Group. And these are spaces for both graduate and undergraduate students to build community and maintain relationships with one another. For example, we talk about relevant issues of the day impacting them, changing socio-political climate, cultural pressures, and specific needs within our diverse student communities. CAPS and ISPO are offering an emotional support forum specifically dedicated for international students during this time. So, this forum is going to be called Coming Together and will be led by Dr. Rena Schul. It's a place where international students come together for support and connection. Topics are open and can include coping with COVID and current events, adjusting to a new culture, and any issues that are relevant to the experience of an international student at UC San Diego. All international students are welcome to attend. The forum is offered weekly on Mondays from 3 to 4, and students can attend once or as many times as they like. All of our forums are held via Zoom and available for all international students, including those living in their home country and outside of the US. So students interested in attending community forums can find the flyer on our CAPS website, which will have a Zoom link. And students can just show up on the day they want to attend. There's no prior sign up needed. All right, next slide. And we also have iFlourish. iFlourish is an online self-improvement program offered as a way to increase access for students who may not seek out counseling through the traditional way of coming in for an appointment. These are all self-guided technology programs. They provide evidence-based interventions. So some of the same interventions that they would learn with a psychologist, they can learn online. They're free, anonymous, and available only to UC San Diego students. They're desktop, mobile, and tablet friendly. And so students can sign up for any of these by going to our website, caps.ucsd.edu/iFlourish. And all of these programs are available to all students, including students who are living in their home country outside of the US. Next slide. If a student is interested in counseling services, they can call our CAPS central office to schedule a brief telephone assessment. This is called a BTA, and you can see our phone number there on the slide. During this 15 to 20-minute phone assessment, a CAPS counselor will confidentially talk with the student about their needs and help them find the right resource for their concerns. CAPS counselors will ask questions to learn more about the student's concerns, and based on the information that the student shares, the CAPS counselor will make recommendations. And there are 4 primary recommendations that they can make, with students sometimes being provided a combination of recommendations. So the 4 possible recommendations include: 1, focused intermittent therapy with or without psychiatry services, or they can be referred to a CAPS group, forum, workshop, or iFlourish. So some concerns, such as getting nervous in social situations or relationship challenges or feeling lonely, group counseling can be really helpful. The third option is that students might be referred off campus for longer term counseling, and CAPS helps provide step-by-step support for students who need to connect with counselors off campus for ongoing counseling. And ongoing counseling is when a student meets with a counselor more frequently. So we can help students make those appointments using their insurance. And then finally, some students may be referred to student health services for a more medical related concern or testing, or students may be referred to community resources based on their needs. But all of our recommendations are individually tailored to best meet each student's needs. And as a reminder, students must be living in the state of California to attend our counseling appointments, but all students living inside or outside the US are welcome to call CAPS, and we can provide them with assistance on how to get the help that they need.
So some services or just some brief information. If you all ever have questions about the services of the cluster whether it's student health services, counseling or psychological services, or health promotion services. All of this information can be found on our websites at wellness.ucsd.edu. We have a lot of programs, support services, and resources and ways for your family member to get involved with our office. We will be here this coming fall quarter. We have individuals who are in-house, we have individuals who are virtually, and like Dr. O'Mara said, the counseling and psychological services piece, it is for individuals who are in the state of California, but they do have some other ways in which you can engage with CAPS. For health promotion services, it does not matter what state you're in, what location you're in. We are here for you. We are here to support your child or your family member. And so definitely feel free to reach out at any point in time. I went back to your Q&A and I added some phone numbers in there in regards to emergency situations. If you ever come up to an emergency situation, especially if it's physical health, please call 911 if it is a true emergency. Emergency can be, and we've seen this happen before, a student is allergic to something and they decide to walk to student health. Don't walk over, call 911. You need immediate assistance. So something in which you need immediate assistance, call 911. If it's something where you're on campus and you're in your residential community, you're unsure of what to do, that is where you can call the phone numbers that I have listed for you in the Q&A section. So please note that your child, your family member can walk directly into the clinic and get support from any of our offices, including CAPS, someone is there, including Student Health Services and Wellbeing, someone is there. We are here to assist you throughout your time here at UC San Diego. We want you to have a great experience, and we know that health and wellness plays a huge factor in that. And we would love to welcome you all back to UC San Diego. At some point, we will all meet officially together, but right now, virtual is the best way. Email us, communicate with us. That's what we're here for.
All right, so we are at the question and answer part of our presentation. Thank you, Tiffany and Lisa, for the information you've provided so far. There is one question in the Q&A channel. And before I get to that, I just wanted to send a quick reminder. I don't know if our attendees got to see the chat channel, but if you prefer to type your questions in Mandarin, we have a professional staff who will be able to answer back in Mandarin. So I just wanted to put that out there. Ladies, either one of you could answer this question. Are the services covered by student health insurance? Maybe decipher what is what under health insurance a little bit more, or what is just free for all students?
Yeah, all students can come in for a medical appointment. And so please note that if a student is feeling ill, they can come in for a medical appointment. What you're going to find is students will pay for specialty services, right? I need optometry. I need a prescription. I need to go to maybe have a women's appointment, right? Women's health or a gynecology appointment. Those are things that cost. With students, they have a couple options. They can do our UC SHIP, which is our University of California Student Health Insurance Plan, or they also have RAFT as well. And that's fee for service. And so students can pay a fee for a service that they have. If a student is here in the United States and they have their parents' health insurance, then they also can waive out of the student health insurance as well. And so with student health insurance, there's a lot of different options, and it's really tailored to the student for the most part about what they may have outside of here at UCSD and what they may receive here. The best way to get a huge packet of information on our student health insurance plan is to visit our website at wellness.ucsd.edu. To get there a little bit quicker, you can go to studenthealth.ucsd.edu, and at the top of the page, click on student health insurance. You will then say whether you're international or you're a domestic student, and undergrad or graduate, and it will tell you the different prices of the insurance plans, some of the offerings of the insurance plans, and then also you can email ship3@ucsd.edu to speak directly to our insurance supervisor. And in that way, you can get all of your questions answered.
I'll add for CAPS that all of CAPS services that we provide are all free for UCSD students because our services are paid for with the student fees, student registration fees. And so it's only in the case that a student needs to be referred off campus for that longer term, more ongoing, regular therapy, or if they need psychiatric medication, then and we can't help them at UCSD CAPS, then we'll refer them out using their insurance. And if they have SHIP insurance, there's very good coverage. It's $5 per session if they see a UCSD provider, and it's $10 per session if they see someone off campus.
Perfect. Along the same breath, prescriptions, are they covered under student health insurance?
Yes, most prescriptions are covered under student health insurance. What you're going to find this year is we actually do have a Target that is directly across from Student Health Services that also has a pharmacy as well. They will also be taking UC SHIP, but the cheapest prescriptions that you're going to find will be inside of the clinic. And so please let your family member know that the cheapest prescriptions will be done through Student Health Services. So yes, a lot of prescriptions are covered under Student Health Services UC SHIP plan.
Okay. This question is asking where to find more information about group format under counseling and psychological services.
That's a great question. So I just posted in the chat a link that will take you to our groups page, and that will have our therapy groups. So this fall, we're going to be offering interpersonal groups, building social confidence groups, and a grief group for grief and loss. And then it will also take you to the drop-in workshops that I mentioned, and also all of our open forums, including that forum for international students. So if you go to that website, you can find all of those services.
Excellent. Are you able to talk about health insurance plans outside of the US?
So I just responded to that in the chat because each country is a little bit different. And so even here in the States, you'll find that even state by state, it's a little bit different. And sometimes you'll have to get additional coverage. So if you could email ship3@health.ucsd.edu, Jill will cover that and let you know based on where you are, what are some comparable health insurance plans.
Thank you. We must have crossed paths at the same time while I asked the question and you answered it. So great minds think alike. I have a couple more while others might think of other questions to put into the Q&A channel, but here are some for you. You know, we talked about healthy lifestyle, right? Can you give examples of what is a healthy lifestyle for a college student?
Oh, wow, it varies. Each student has a different perspective of what a healthy lifestyle is, and that's why we talk a little bit about holistic health. Some individuals come here and they think a healthy lifestyle is doing the same things they've done in the past, but we know that a student needs growth, right? And so growing in college is a big factor in a healthy lifestyle. Eating healthy, make sure that you have a nutritious meal, make sure that you're getting adequate sleep is another thing as well, especially when we're looking at time management, and then also the classes in which you'll be taking. And so for each student, a healthy lifestyle is something different, but we want students to know that their health is our priority. If they are ill, if they are sick, if they feel that they need to talk to someone from CAPS, that is a part of their health and well-being, and there's nothing wrong with that to reach out for support and help. And Dr. O'Mara, if you would like to add to that, please do.
Yeah, sure. I love everything that Lisa just said, and I'll just add that at CAPS, you know, one of the things that we'll talk with students a lot is, that's part of a healthy lifestyle, is social support. And so if they don't feel like they have good social support, you know, when you're first coming to the US, it's an adjustment. It takes time to make friends and make connections. And so that's one reason why it can help to come into CAPS, to have someone to be able to talk to and get some support while you're going through that adjustment. And then we also at CAPS will talk with students about things like finding meaning and finding purpose, and some of those deeper questions that students ask about, you know, what will increase my sense of well-being. So we work with those types of topics as well.
Thank you for saying that. Earlier, you had mentioned how, seeking help is just it's a natural thing to do, right? If you need help, you seek them out. Can you expand on that a little bit more? Because we know that especially 18-year-olds who are brand new to college, they might not think it's cool to seek help, right? So can you expand on, for us, it's natural and it's expected that students seek help. Can you expand a little bit on that and sort of dive into sharing that message with families that we want your students to seek out help?
I can start with that. We see this a lot, and there can be cultural differences too, because in some cultures it might not be common to go to a counselor, and talk to someone outside of the family. It's very natural to want support, and everybody has a natural desire to feel heard and understood. And so there can be a stigma, like you said. Is it not cool, or is it not something that, they think, oh, that's maybe for only people that are really sick go to a counselor. And a lot of students can be nervous in the beginning about coming in to ask for help. And they think, oh, maybe my problems aren't big enough to come in to talk to somebody. And then when they come in and we reassure them that, one of the main reasons students come in are stress and relationships, struggles with relationships, or stress, managing academic stress. And those are two of the most common reasons that students come in. And so while we do see students for depression and anxiety and those types of problems, we also see students for a large range of issues or concerns that they might have. And when students do go to counseling, after they're there for a couple of sessions, they often say, oh my gosh, I never knew how helpful that this could be. So I would say that it might not be something that you might ever think of doing or going to see a counselor. And I would just encourage you to have an open mind, and to give it a try, because I've really seen a big difference with students feeling like they've got support, especially when they're away from home.
Absolutely. There's a question in the Q&A asking if dermatology is available on campus and covered by the health plan.
It's so funny. I think we are tag teaming each other, Karina. I just answered that one. We do not have that direct service, but we can make a referral. And so the individual who asked that, please email me directly at ljoyner@health.ucsd.edu. Another question was that I know many of you are emailing in regards to UC SHIP, and some of you have stated that you haven't had a response. Email me directly and I will get you that response immediately tomorrow if you have not heard back from UC SHIP. And so my email is ljoyner@health.ucsd.edu.
Are the services anonymous?
You want to start, Tiffany?
Sure. Our services are confidential. We do keep records. Students have a medical record that is kept confidential, and it's so private that like if someone is seeing me for counseling, their physician at Student Health Services, they'll be able to see that they've attended appointment, but they can't see any of the notes that I write. And so that's how serious that we take confidentiality and privacy. And so if someone were to call CAPS, like if a parent were to call and say, I'm concerned about my student, I want to talk about my student, we can't even confirm or deny if your student has even been into counseling services. So all of that information is protected. But if a student wants us to speak with their parents, they can sign a form, and that will allow us to speak with parents. So sometimes students want me to speak with their parent, and then, I'll speak with them about a plan to help their student, and that's been really helpful too.
And I will say for Student Health Services, their services are confidential as well. They're bound by HIPAA. And so we would not disclose any information without a student signing off on that. Even in my office with Health Promotion Services, we do some conduct programs that are confidential as well. And so we really do maintain that privacy and confidentiality of a student. That is very important to our cluster. And everything is housed within our medical system for Epic. And so that is through our main hospital over at Jacobs. So everything that your student will do pretty much for our student health and well-being cluster is bound by some form of confidentiality.
So a number of our students will be at home starting the fall quarter. So they'll be taking classes remotely. And so they're going to be in the presence of their family, or vice versa. Families will be in the presence of their student a lot more than they have before, right? What should family members look out for where they might think to themselves, hey, maybe you should give a call to health promotion services, or maybe you should reach out to counseling and psychological services?
Tiffany, if you want to answer that one first, I'm going to respond to this last one in the chat.
Sure. So first of all, I would say to recognize that the transition to UC San Diego, whether your student is an undergraduate or a graduate student, there's going to be a lot more pressure on them, and there's going to be, they're going to be at home, but they're going to need to study. They're going to need to try to join virtual programs to be able to make connections with other students. And so even though they're physically at home, just recognize that your student might not be as available to you as they were when they weren't at the university. You know, being at the university is a big transition, and they're going to be needing to spend a lot more time in their studies. And also, it's really important that they try to make virtual social connections, even though they're not in person. And so just, I would say for the parents to just have patience and to understand that they might not be as available. But I would look out for warning signs if they seem like they're withdrawing. So if they're busy, that's different. But if they seem like they're withdrawing, if they're sleeping a lot, if they're not eating, you know, if you notice that their mood changes, if they're more irritable, or they seem really sad, or they're crying. So if you notice any of those types of changes, that could be a sign that they're having some difficulty with this transition. And that might be a time that you might want to call CAPS. And we're happy to consult with parents about your concerns, and can also help direct you to other resources.
I agree with Dr. O'Meara. I think just watching out for those warning signs is very important, especially during such a tough time with dealing with COVID and people are feeling a little bit withdrawn. And typically they would be here on campus, right? They would be engaging with others. They would be living this great college experience here in La Jolla. But right now for those individuals at home, they're sitting behind a screen pretty much all day, whether it's for classes, whether it's trying to engage with each other. And so just be mindful, ask questions, and note that they will be spending a lot of time studying. And we have a lot of engagement opportunities for your child as well. And they can do a lot of things through the Virtual Student Union where they still feel like they are part of UC San Diego, even if they're not really here in person. And so make sure that they feel engaged. There's lots of stuff to do through Rec Sports, the Center for Student Involvement, Health Promotions, CAPS. We're definitely here. We want to support, so don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you so much for your time, ladies, Lisa and Tiffany. We're coming at the end of our presentation. And then just to recap on everything that they said, wellness.ucsd.edu is a place where you can learn a lot more about what Lisa and Tiffany have talked about. So moving forward, what you are able to do once we upload our video to our YouTube channel programs, please look out for the settings indicated by the arrow here on the screen and follow the 4 simple steps so that you are able to listen to the video in your preferred language. So YouTube has this setting where you're able to go back to the video and be able to listen to it in the preferred language that you would like. Next slide. We have one more session today at 5 o'clock our time. This is about 10 minutes from now. So we hope to see you there. Next slide. And again, if you've been with us this entire week, you know that we have an amazing program coming up next month. If you are new today to our program, please make plans to join us October 19th through the 25th, where we have a boatload of different activities for everyone on campus who are part of the campus, students, family, faculty, staff, but we also have specific webinars for families as well. So please check out our website at ucs.edu. You can also register for any of the events that appeal to you during that week at homecoming.ucsd.edu. Thank you for your time. We will see you soon, hopefully in 10 minutes. If not, definitely in the future. Have a great day.